peace and hope and love. What do I find it in this crazy old world? I need strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab.
We need them. We need those strategies, don't we? Some days I need strategies more than other days, but as long as we're living, we got to have strategies. Welcome, folks. Welcome into Strategies for Living. I'm Dr. David McMillian. She is psychotherapist, PLPC Lauren McMillian. And, Lauren, this is an amazing statistic to me. Mm-hmm. Nearly half of all women in the United States are going to experience psychological aggression from an intimate partner.
Yeah.
That number is incredibly high to me. And
well, not surprising, but yeah, it is high, unfortunately.
Well, our life strategist today is named Laurie S. Jacobson, and she was one of those, unfortunately, until she did something I guess you would call radical.
Yeah.
She went to a Buddhist monastery, and it changed everything for her. Now, we get a lot of books.
Yeah.
I got this book.
I know.
I could not put.
He hasn't put it down.
I can't put.
And
I couldn't put it down.
There's little flags sticking out on every side of it.
It's all finished, and I don't do this often, but I went to Amazon and gave a review of this book.
Yeah.
Gave it as many stars as I could probably have given it. Would have given it more if I could have. But
it's only so many stars.
Exactly. What a story. What a story we're going to hear from Laurie Jacobson. Her book is called Unexpected Awakening, 22 Days at a Buddhist Monastery Freed Me from Abuse. And Laurie's a certified health coach and, of course, author. And she had 22 days of, silence, meditation, spiritual teaching, and helped her heal some emotional wounds that were surprising. We're going to hear all about that today. Yeah, it's going to be a good Strategies for Listening. Great life strategist. Folks, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you being here, and we appreciate our sponsors who make it all possible. The Robinson Film Center, Azalea Cleaners, Pintail Roofing, Learning RX, We Train Your Brain, the Balanced Life Wellness Center, Fertitas Delicatessen, home of the Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage, and pretty good Muffies, too. SRT, Sales Training, Uprising, Addiction Center, and Mira, Direct Primary Care. Unexpected Awakening, Laurie Jacobson, our life strategist today, here on Strategies for Living. Stick around.
Tune in daily, find the light. Healthy mind and spirits bright. Strategies for living strong. Feel the vibe, it won't go wrong. Body moves and soul align. Catch the rhythm, feel the time. Radio rehab every day. Chase those clouds of gray away. Your daily dose of radio rehab. Lift you up when skies seem trapped. Mind and body, spirits free. Living life in harmony.
And welcome into Strategies for Living. Lauren McMillian, David McMillian. Let's welcome into the program now a graduate of Boston University, degree in psychology. Laurie Jacobson has been practicing and promoting natural health for over 25 years. Her work in the health and wellness field has been featured on television, radio, and in local and national magazines and newspapers. She's done a lot of things. We'll probably get into that. But let me just welcome Laurie Jacobson into Strategies. Laurie, welcome.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. It's great being here.
So I just, I read a lot of books because of this program, but not many of them. In fact, I don't know whenever I've been led
Compelled to
go do a
a
review on a book.
Yeah, I can't say that I've seen him do that.
But, I couldn't put your book down, and I knew, okay, we've got to share this with the Strategies audience. So thank you for writing the book. Thank you for being here with us.
Well, thank you for being a reader. I just am so grateful when anyone reads my story because I just wanted to share it with as many people as possible. So thank you for your kindness and for your time to spend with my story.
So, let's begin there. How would you describe Unexpected Awakening, the heart of it? How do you tell people what this book is?
Wow. Well, the first word that comes to mind is really transformation.
Mm.
It was an incredible transformation for me because I was in such a dark place. I was losing hope. I felt very alone. I didn't see a way out of this abusive marriage that I was in. And the book really just chronicles my journey from that dark place to a place of freedom and happiness and really finding myself again, which was just so blissful and wonderful.
Yeah, and I thank you for the courage to tell your story, because I think, again, like I said in the beginning, if the statistics are right, 50%
Right.
of women are in emotionally abusive relationships, but obviously many don't go public with their story. You did. Thank you for that courage.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, I guess, it was good that some time did elapse between the transformation and then me completing the book, so I could look back on it with a larger perspective. I wasn't as close to the trauma, which was helpful. But you're right about women not. It's not even a matter that they come public. Some women don't even realize they're in an emotionally abusive relationship.
Reading the book, I kind of got that idea from you.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got the idea that you didn't realize how abusive the relationship you were in truly. Well, I mean, I knew you knew it was abusive, but the
maybe
depth,
not the degree. Yeah.
the degree and the depth. I got the idea from your story that, you just, I guess, we down here in the South, we have a story about drop a frog into boiling water and it'll jump out and save itself. But if you drop a frog into a pot and just slowly heat the water, it stays there till it's boiled. Not a good metaphor, but
well, it is true that when you're in it, you look for ways to just sort of accept it or resign yourself to it, or you don't want to even admit to yourself how bad it is.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I'm glad you sort of sensed that from the book because, it's a hard thing to describe. Women who have gone through it know what I'm talking about, but people who haven't gone through this kind of abuse, they really don't understand it in the same way as people who have experienced it. And unfortunately, a lot of women that I've talked to, when I talk about my book and it's about abuse and their abusive relationship, they're like, oh, I can relate. It's all too common. And, it might be the type of just thing where you're in a toxic relationship and you get out of it because you do recognize what it is.
Right.
But if you get in too deep, you start losing yourself. You start losing your self-confidence, your self-esteem, and that makes it even harder to extricate yourself.
Yeah. I'm going to, if you ladies will excuse me for one moment, just give me one moment. I'm going to get up on my soapbox here. I'm going to try not to fall off. But some people already may hear what we're saying, and the men say, well, that's not a book for me. Yes, it is. So I'm up on my soapbox now. Guys need to read this book as much as ladies do. Yeah. There, I've said it. Now I'm off my box.
I think that was worth getting on the box.
That's very interesting too, because just for the guys out there, for instance, I know there are guys that are in abusive relationships too. Like my husband now, fortunately I found a wonderful man. I'm remarried. I'm happy.
Good.
But he was in an abusive marriage, and it was the woman who was abusing him.
Right.
Yeah.
So it can happen that way, but also for the guys out there, there's a lot of spiritual wisdom in this book as well.
Yes.
I think that you don't have to be an abused woman to appreciate this story, because if you're interested in personal growth or spiritual growth, there's a lot of that in the book as well.
Yeah. It's kind of, there's a emotional healing aspect to the book. There's a spirituality aspect to the book. There's a memoir, certainly, in the book. And one of the things that I really appreciated is you wove some of the Buddhism teachings in through the story. And I liked that. I liked that you did that.
Well, thank you. That was part of the journey. I had to put that in there. But when I went there, I didn't know a whole lot about Buddhism. I'd read a little bit about it. I was interested in it. That's why I went to the monastery, because I was interested in the Buddhist teachings. But I went there sort of with what they call beginner's mind, and very open. And it was funny because one of the readers, one of my friends who read the book, she said, "Oh, by the title," she said, "I was worried this was going to be like really religious." And she said, "But it's not preachy at all."
No.
Like she said, you didn't come across as being preachy about Buddhism. It's just an explanation of some of the basics and some of these basic teachings and how they helped me.
Yeah, and we talk a bit about Buddhism and from time to time.
It's not really a religion, right?
Yeah.
So much as a way of life.
You can be a Buddhist Christian, or you can be a Buddhist, I don't know, fill in the blank, I think.
It's the teaching. Yeah, it's a teaching. That's how I approach it. It's words of wisdom. It's guidance for your life. How can you be a happier person? I just because people ask me, "Oh, are you a Buddhist?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not really a Buddhist, but I'm in love with the Buddhist teachings, and I try to keep them in mind for my life, and try to." Express that out into the world, because if we all followed these teachings and spread loving kindness and were more aware and reflective and in present moment, I think the world would be a lot better place.
Absolutely.
Amen.
How did the Buddhist teachings in particular, how did they reshape your understanding of pain?
Of emotional pain, you mean?
Yes, and suffering.
Yeah, suffering. Well, that's the number one noble truth.
Right.
The Buddha says. And I asked one of the monks in the book. This is in the book. How do I look at the teachings? And he's like, well, the Four Noble Truths. If you know the Four Noble Truths, then you know everything about Buddhism. And the first one is, the Buddha says, life is suffering. But what's interesting is that the word suffering in Pali, and that's the original language of the Buddha. It's like a dead language now. It's Pali, P-A-L-I.
Right.
It's translated as suffering, but it really means unsatisfactoriness.
Mm.
So that really means like life isn't going the way we want it to go. There's always going to be something that doesn't just quite fit, doesn't go the way we want it. Like a cog in a wheel is messed up. And but the Buddha says, the second noble truth is that suffering is caused by desire or craving. So the more you crave something and then you don't get it, of course you're going to suffer. But the Buddha promises that there is a way out of suffering, and that his way of getting out of suffering is you follow his eightfold path.
Yeah.
So then, you just learn more about what the eightfold path is, and you mostly, I would say for me though, on these retreats, the Buddha also advocates loving kindness and compassion.
Yeah, and you emphasize that over and over in the book, and I'm so glad
yeah,
you did. Let me get a quick break here, folks. The book is called Unexpected Awakening. You can find it where you buy books. 22 Days at a Buddhist Monastery Freed Me from Abuse. Laurie Jacobson, our life strategist today here on Strategies for Living. We've got much more to learn from a great life strategist today. Stay with us.
Facing the same old problems day to day makes you wonder how to get away. Looking for the road that'll get me there. Looking for hope and peace to spare. Looking for strategies. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab.
And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian, our life strategist today, the author of Unexpected Awakening. Got to get this book, folks. Laurie S. Jacobson. And we're learning so much about freeing yourself from abuse. What, Laurie, before we go too far, let's talk about the difference between emotional abuse and physical abuse. I think physical abuse gets a lot of press, but emotional abuse, I'm not sure, as we said in the last segment, gets what it needs. What is, and I think your book does a very good job of illustrating that, but how would you tell people to look at those two things? Are they the same? Are they different? What do you think?
Well, that's an excellent question. And you're right that when people think of domestic abuse, they think of physical abuse, like, this woman got a black eye or whatever it is. But you can say that physical abuse is terrible. Don't get me wrong, but the physical body will heal. You have a cut, it heals. You have black and blue marks, they heal. Emotional abuse cuts much deeper.
Yeah.
And all abuse is emotional abuse. Physical abuse is just one component of emotional abuse. They'd all come under the heading of emotional abuse. And emotional abuse is I think more traumatic because it gets into your psyche, it gets into your soul, it takes away your sense of your power and who you are and your confidence and your self-esteem. So you become like this shell of yourself because you've been so put down, you've been so criticized, you've been so treated like an inferior person, and it's especially insidious when you don't have a support group, or you're very alone, you're very isolated, you don't have anybody telling you anything different, which
Right.
Yeah.
really was in my case, because I was living in a very remote part of the Pennsylvania mountains with just, in this old farmhouse with me and my husband and family like across the continent. And these abusers can become so controlling that they keep people away.
Mhm.
They keep supporters away by, bad mouthing them or not allowing you to see them or making you feel like you're betraying them if you go have lunch with a girlfriend. I mean, I know
Right.
it
Yeah.
sounds really silly now, but when you're in the
No.
midst of it and you become, just this shell of yourself with only this one person telling you who you are, it's so debilitating and so harmful,
Yeah.
that it stays with you. The
Yeah.
scars don't heal as fast
Yeah.
as scars from physical abuse.
I think
Well,
that's
one
well
of the-
said.
Yeah. One of the things that I found amusing is, and I don't want to give too much press to your ex. You talk about him in the book, and I think you're very fair with the way that you treat him. But he thought of himself as a writer. And I was about midway through the book, and I was already, yelling at him through the pages. Would you stop? But what I found was about midway through the book, it was obvious to me what a wonderful writer and storyteller you are, which is what he aspired to be.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
talk about karma.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, first of all, thank you so much. It always is so heartwarming when somebody tells you write well, and when you try to write the story that means the most to you. And believe me, I went over this draft. Oh my God, I can't tell you how many edits I did on this book because my goal was to tell this story as well and as beautifully as I possibly could because it was that important to me. But yeah, you're right. It was sort of funny that here he was, this crazy man, thinking that he was, God's gift to the literary world, and here I am the one that actually got a book published.
Yeah.
And crazy, huh? Yeah. Well, life's full of crazy things, so
Made me wonder. I mean, just inquiring minds want to know. Made me wonder if he had read the book. And you may not know or anything like that.
No, I know. No, you know what? I mean, you've read the book, so you could tell that this man was not well.
Right.
I mean,
right.
he really went off the deep end.
He was
wasn't
disturbed.
like that when I married.
Yeah.
He
yeah,
was very
sure.
disturbed, and I found out several years ago that he committed suicide.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Because you could tell by your writing, and you were very fair, that there was some goodness in him. I mean, he wasn't totally a jerk.
No, I'm so glad you picked that up because I did try to be fair. I really tried to capture, the totality of who he was and the totality of the human, what we're capable of.
Right.
We can be capable of great love, but we can also be capable of great hate and resentment.
Yeah.
And I didn't, want to depict him as a total monster. Because he wasn't,
right.
But he had issues. He was, disturbed. And what was interesting was that, after attending the retreat and filling my heart with compassion and loving kindness, I was even able to see that in him without hating him.
Yes. And you gave him a chance. I mean, you gave him you delineated that. You had conversations with him and said, I'm willing to give this a chance, but it's like he couldn't change. Yeah.
No.
Where was the point, Laurie, where Do you remember where the line was where you said, "Okay,
That's enough.
yeah"? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that because that was right after meditation in the last meditation I had at the monastery,
Mm.
and I realized that I didn't have to hold on to this anymore, and it was just, because the whole practice of meditation is letting go, letting go, letting go. A thought comes up, you let it go. You just keep practicing that, and something clicked that I just realized. It was like a light bulb moment. Is like, oh, everything passes away. Everything comes and passes away. You keep letting things go, letting things go. Well, why can't I can just let this go?
Mm.
Yeah.
It just seems so clear to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The clarity just came through. I mean, because I guess there wasn't a whole lot of judgment and emotion and thought process behind the whole thing, which really holds us up from real clear perceptions.
Yep.
All those other things, just were dropping away. Like, I wasn't hating him. I wasn't wishing for anything. I wasn't trying and struggling to get away. It was just, everything was just clear. Like, here, all I have to do is let this go. I don't have to do this anymore.
Yeah.
It's so much
And I was
simpler
able
than
to walk away.
Yeah, it's so much simpler than we often make it to be, right?
Exactly. We complicate it in our own minds. But, it's because so much emotion is tied up with it. And, But yeah, thank goodness I was able to do that.
Yeah.
From a psychological point of view, I found it a bit interesting that the jobs that you took on were keeping the fire lit and compost duty. There's something very psychologically revealing about the jobs you took on, Laurie.
I know, it was so weird. And I thought about that afterwards, how important it was to keep the fire going.
Mm-hmm.
Like that fire. I didn't plan this, believe me, I did not plan this out in the book, but it was like almost the fire became a symbol for just keeping myself going and keeping my heart going and, keeping my inspiration going and my courage going. It was like, if I let that fire go out, I was like letting something inside me go out and I was going to give up. The fire and, emptying the compost, that's the other end of it.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I chuckled when I realized, because you talk about the first time you looked at the retreat schedule and, figured out, look at all of this meditation. I mean, there's some yoga in there between and some private time, and obviously you ate a couple of meals a day, but lots of meditation, lots of sitting on your butt. Yeah.
Oh, I was scared to death. I mean, I showed up there scared to death. I didn't know where all the fear was coming from. I didn't think I could handle all that meditation. I didn't know what was going to happen. Was anything going to happen? I was like desperate. I was at my wit's end. This was like my last chance.
Yeah.
Because I had tried lots of different things to, I'd read a bunch of self-help books. I tried to, go to counseling. I tried different natural therapies and acupuncture and Reiki, anything to just get me feeling better. I was so down, so depressed, and so like not me. And then I had this chance to go on a retreat to a Buddhist monastery, and I just said, well, got to try it. It's my last chance. I don't know what else is going to work.
So glad that you did, and so glad that there was an unexpected awakening. That's the name of the book. 22 Days at a Buddhist Monastery Freed Me from Abuse. Laurie Jacobson, our life strategist today here on Strategies for Living. And we've got lots more. We're going to come back and meet the white marble lady when we come back. Much more. Stay with us. And welcome back in. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian, and our life strategist today, Laurie Jacobson, Laurie S. Jacobson, and her book is Unexpected Awakening, 22 Days at a Buddhist Monastery Freed Me from Abuse. Laurie, is the best place to go to Amazon, or what's the best place, easiest way for people to get your book?
Yeah, I would say it's probably Amazon. Just go to Amazon and Google either my name or the book, and it'll pop up. But if people want to visit my website, you can also order it from my website. But it's on Barnes & Noble as well if you want to order it there. But a lot of people just are on Amazon a lot, so you can visit my book while you're shopping.
There you go. Okay, so the white marble lady, the white marble woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
What do you want to share with us about this beautiful statue?
Well, I would say that her name is Kuan Yin, and she is a bodhisattva, which means that she's in Buddhism. She's got a lot of different iterations, but in the tradition of the monastery I was at, she is a bodhisattva of compassion, and she hears the cries of the world. So I didn't know about Kuan Yin at all when I went to the monastery. And one day when I was sitting in meditation, I felt this presence behind me, and I could see this woman in a white robe, and I just felt her right behind me, and I couldn't turn around. I was in the meditation hall, so you don't like fidget or turn around and look. So I didn't turn around and look, but I could see her very, very clearly. And I found out later from a fellow retreatant who used to be a Buddhist nun, and she was telling me, she's like, "Oh, Kuan Yin is so close to you." And I'm like, "Who's Kuan Yin?" And she took me outside and showed me a statue of this, and it's a beautiful white marble statue. I have a picture of it here, I'm looking at it right now in my room. And she said, "You can talk to her. She's very close to you. She's heard your cries, and she will help you." And of course, I'm thinking, like, I was just hallucinating. This is crazy. Like, I didn't believe it at first.
Yeah.
But I went ahead and I went to the statue almost every day and talked to her, and I felt her presence again, a second and third time, and that's how I knew that Kuan Yin was indeed close to me, helping me, guiding me. I asked her for strength and courage, and I'm sure that I received it from her.
Neat.
It's interesting to me that the monks in the monastery were not really big on Kuan Yin. They weren't. Yeah. Somebody had donated the statue, so they placed it, but it wasn't in a prominent place where all of you could see it.
Well, it was because, see, there are different traditions in Buddhism. The monastery I was at was, the tradition was Theravada, and that's like the oldest and first tradition of Buddhism. And, Buddhism then evolved into the Mahayana tradition where, Tibetan and Zen, came out of that.
Right.
But in the Theravada tradition, they didn't really recognize Kuan Yin. They didn't, they were old school. I mean, they were still like, monks are men and, the whole thing. And so they didn't really recognize her. But as you said, they were gifted this statue. They placed it there, and they just didn't make a whole big deal out of it. But a lot of their donors were Asian people who really, loved and prayed to Kuan Yin. So they had no choice but to accept it.
Yeah. I couldn't help but root for Charles. I was, and I know. Well, if people need to read the story so they can see, but man, I was rooting for Charles.
Well, Charles was the monastery cook, and he had been there. He had been living there for several years, and I met him while I was there, and he was a very dear, sweet man, and just we got along really well.
Yeah.
And he, I would say, sort of wrapping up everything that happened. I mean, it was the silence, it was the meditation, it was the Buddha's teachings, it was Kuan Yin, and it was Charles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because Charles showed me that I was lovable.
Yeah. He showed you a different way. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And, all those years of being put down and ignored and told that I was nothing and not being, I'm not attractive, I'm not this, I'm not that, and who could ever love me? And I, of course, didn't love myself. But Charles and some of the other people that were living there showed me that, they helped bring me back to myself and showed me that, I am lovable. I'm capable of love and loving.
Yeah.
And my heart was filled with loving kindness and compassion, which, came from Kuan Yin as well. And because you have to have self-love.
Yes.
Amen.
To be able to put love out there as well. So,
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What practices that you learned from your retreat, which practices do you still use today in your daily life?
Well, I would say just being as kind a person as I can in almost every interaction. I really try, even if I'm taking a walk and I meet my neighbor or whatever I'm doing, forefront in my mind is showing them kindness and loving kindness. So that's a real big one for me. I do meditate. I don't meditate every single day, but when I need to sit still, it still gives me, so much pleasure and calmness that I need to help center me. And I know, David, in the book you read a little bit about the chanting.
Yes.
The chanting was incredible, and I don't chant the way I did in the monastery, but I do sing, and I find that singing helps me, feel that vibration.
It's all about
vibration.
It's all about vibration.
Yeah.
It is. And and my husband plays guitar, so we have our little jam sessions, and so music, is really great, and singing is great. But it's just really difficult when people come back to the real world from a place where you're quiet and reflective and meditating, and then you're dropped into this crazy, stress-filled world. You're busy. Things are coming at you right and left. How do you stay grounded? You know.
Well,
we all have to find our own way.
I tell you, one way we can stay grounded is reading books like this. Unexpected Awakening. Find it where you buy books. 22 Days at a Buddhist Monastery. Freed Me from Abuse. Laurie S. Jacobson, our life strategist today. We'll be back. We'll wrap up here on Strategies for Living, so come back with us. And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Laurie Jacobson with us today. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian. The book is Unexpected Awakening. Great book. You got to get hold of it wherever you buy books. So, Laurie, we could go another 3 hours because there's so much meat here in the book. But what do you really want people to take away from Unexpected Awakening?
I would want people to believe in themselves, to trust themselves, to never give up. If you're in a bad situation, just don't give up. Keep seeking, keep believing, and know that you're going to come out on the other side if you make the effort.
Yeah.
So, just keep going, keep seeking, and don't don't lose yourself. Keep looking deep inside. You're still in there.
Yeah.
I think that's a great message.
it.
Keep on keeping on. Laurie, again, thank you so much for writing this book. Thank you for being a great life strategist here on Strategies for Living. Folks, the book is Unexpected Awakening, and you can find it wherever you buy books. And as Laurie mentioned, her website is lauriesjacobson.com. So that'll link you to the different places to buy the book. But Amazon's always our go-to. So there you go. And look forward to the next time you come back, Laurie.
Well, thanks so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's been so much fun. You guys are great. Thanks
Thank
a
you.
bunch.
Thank you.
And folks, thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living and being a part. And we appreciate our sponsors who make it all possible. The Robinson Film Center, Azalea Cleaners, Pintail Roofing, Learning RX, We Train Your Brain, the Balanced Life Wellness Center, Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of the Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage, SRT Sales Training, Uprising Addiction Center, and Mira Direct Primary Care. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who would you call? And what would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Laurie S. Jacobson, for Lauren Leon McMillian, I'm David McMillian. See you next time right here on Strategies for Living.